Welcome everyone to docket 9819 CE 100, the application for a CPCN of Elk Creek PV for a solar electric generation facility. This is Michael Newmark, the Administrative Law Judge for the PSC, and we have the applicant, parties, and commission staff in attendance here on Zoom. We've made the connection available to the public as well. I don't see any members of the public joining us to observe at this point, but we'll let them in if they come. We are in the party hearing session today, so we're receiving evidence from parties and commission staff. We have collected public comments at our public hearing sessions on Wednesday, and we're also accepting public comments in writing up until the end of this day, the end of May 12th, either through the commission's website or if we receive them today by US mail. Right now, we have 51 comments on file submitted in accordance with the notice of hearing. So that's all we need for the notice. Let's have appearances. So get our appearances on the record. Who do we have appearing for Elk Creek?
Your Honor, Eric Callisto with Michael Best and Friedrich, as well as Gary Bridgens from Michael Best and Friedrich, as well as the applicant and numerous representatives of the applicant.
Okay, thanks. And I don't think I have, this is not the updated list, unfortunately. So we do have Gary Bridgens on the current list. I saw your notice of appearance yesterday. So who do we have for the PSC?
Sophia Rogers for the Public Service Commission of Wisconsin, and with me is Mark Rashkovich.
Okay, and with Renew Wisconsin.
Yes, good morning. This is Michael Vickerman appearing on behalf of Renew Wisconsin.
Okay, great, thanks. All right, so we can close the notice and service list, and I'll show the offered evidence list. So this is the list parties and staff received yesterday, just indicating the documents offered for the record and a number of corrections and clarification comments from myself. So we can go off the record for this. Just want to know if there are any corrections we need to make to the list. Did I misidentify or miss any of the filings? Okay, well, doesn't sound like it. All right, so we're going to work off this list. These documents with the corrections will be admitted into the record. So any questions about the misfilings or the standards, filing standard comments?
No, Your Honor, for the applicant, we are fine. We'll correct all the technical issues. Obviously, we want to chat about the two things I believe you have highlighted here.
Okay, yeah, so let's get on the record for that. So I did have a couple of clarification questions for the applicant and I guess a couple for Renew, but if Renew is comfortable just answering those on the stand, we can wait for that. It sounds like the applicant had some questions about those clarification issues, so go ahead.
Your Honor, as to the authors of the appendices, we're prepared to provide those through Mr. P. Carr on the stand today for each one of those, if that's adequate for your purposes.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thanks.
Thanks. On the second issue as to why there was no SEC testimony, I confess I felt it wasn't necessary. We did reference the document through Dylan Stickney. Mr. Vickerman as well as referenced it, both of them in their direct testimonies. And the thinking there, fair or not, was that the case is quite uncontroversial or non-controversial. And so we didn't believe it was necessary. I didn't believe it was necessary. If the court would like to have some sort of affidavit from Dr. Loomis, we're certainly willing and able to do that. I can get that in by the date in the scheduling order. But that was the basis for the decision not to provide direct testimony.
Okay. And So it stuck out to me because I think in every other case we've had what we're calling an SEC, the economic study. We've had the author appear to at least verify the document, and so this is just a change in our past practice. And I guess as opposed to other filings that deal with technical engineering issues, the applicant usually provides an engineer on the stand that could potentially address any questions about those. I don't know if we've ever really tested that theory, but the economic study just seems to be sort of an outlier in terms of the expertise of the witnesses that the applicant brings. So I think I'll let things stand the way they are. I mean, I think it's the applicant can make that call. I don't know how the commission, if they may. I mean, they've seen the study many times. I don't know if they would find it less credible without it being verified. I think that's just a risk I think the applicant is going to have to take on that. And yeah, I don't know about going forward if there's a desire to have, if there's questions for that witness, we'd have to, or if there's questions on the SEC, we'd have to have the witness appear, or we'd have to make that person a witness first of all, and then have them appear. I don't know if that's really necessary here. But I suppose if the commission does have issues with the study, then we've missed that opportunity at this point to do that. So, I think that the applicant I think it's fine. That's how you want to pursue the case, and I'll just let it stay on the way it is.
Thank you.
Then in terms of Mr. Vickerman, the renew clarifications, did you need any assistance with that, or are you willing to just answer those questions on the stand? You need to unmute.
Would it be, I didn't see these questions
Oh,
until now. And my double vision is particularly bad today.
Okay.
Can you read what you would like clarified?
Sure, I can make it bigger, first of all, so you can see it too. But so there's a statement that you made on, and we go off the record for this point, I think, yeah. So there's a statement you made indirect, and it's just kind of a general statement, but Elk Creek Solar should displace fossil fueled generation at all times. And I just want to know if you had more of a possibly wanted to elaborate a little bit on that, exactly what times you're talking about, because
I can do that.
okay, yeah. And then in terms of Vickerman 2, the exhibit, so I think I noticed, so there's this, and I may have to bring this up for you to see, but so there's a line for the Salix project, that's SALIX.
Oh,
Can you see that?
yeah.
So I think in another case you had it set at 7.5, and I wasn't sure.
Well,
I think
yeah.
in some cases it said at 7.5, so I figured the 6 might have been incorrect. So
The 6 was incorrect. It is 7.5.
so we can just clarify that when you get up
Yeah.
there. And then just the basic one I ask whenever I see it, if you highlighted some portions of Vickerman 3 in yellow, I just wanted to make sure that that you added, I think it's that newspaper article. I just want to make sure you indicate that you added the highlight to the original.
Okay.
So just those simple ones. So yeah, so when it's your turn, we'll just go through those again.
Thank you.
Sure. That's all I have. So, and I highlighted these this time, so I don't miss them. I'm always looking for them. Okay, perfect. So anything else about the list? No? Okay. Let's get on the record. So it looks like our offered evidence list is complete in terms of the documents it identifies. For the record, we'll just need the corrections filed on a timely fashion, and then I can admit those documents into the record. So let's start off with the applicant's witnesses. So go ahead.
Elk Creek Solar calls Chris Picard to the stand.
Morning.
Good morning. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, go ahead.
Your Honor, if I have a second, all I'm seeing at this point on my screen is your document. But maybe that's just me. My apologies.
Well, I can take the screen share off of that. And there might be a little slight delay, but yeah, if everyone has that document in front of them, we can stop the share. What is that?
Perfect.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Mr. Picard, did you cause to be filed direct rebuttal testimony and one exhibit in this case?
Yes.
And if asked the same questions, would you give the same answers today?
Yes.
Do you have any changes or modifications to your pre-filed testimony or exhibit?
No.
Mr. Picard, the ALJ has asked for some additional detail on the authors of various appendices that were filed as part of the CPCN application, specifically appendices P, S, U, and V. Can you please provide for the record the authors of those appendices?
Sure. The author of Appendix P, the noise study, was Joanne Blank, Senior Environmental Scientist, Stantec. The author of Appendix S, Road Condition Report, was Matt Clementi, PE, Senior Civil Engineer, Stantec. The author of Appendix U, Wetland and Waterway Permitting Tables, was Justin Funk, Senior Environmental Scientist, Stantec. And the author of Appendix V, Land Cover Impact Tables, was Caroline Armour, GIS Analyst, Stantec.
Okay, just off the record for a second. Debbie, did you get all those names?
Yeah, I've heard them before, so I can find them.
Perfect. All right, thanks.
Yeah.
All right, back on the record.
Your Honor, we have some brief sir rebuttal, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Picard, am I correct that Elk Creek Solar and WDNR are currently at different positions on the use of red fescue in the vegetation management plan for this project?
Yes.
Could you please describe Elk Creek Solar's position and what you understand WDNR's to be?
Sure. Elk Creek Solar considers the inclusion of red fescue akin to a safety net in the seed mix because it germinates and establishes quickly and can thrive in the driest and shadiest areas under the panels, occupying a niche that could be otherwise filled by annual weeds. Elk Creek understands WDNR's concern that the red fescue could, over time, grow laterally, forming a turf and outcompete the bunch grasses, sedges, and pollinator-friendly forbs that are included in the Graminoid Plus seed mix.
Have you had a conversation with WDNR witness Stacy Rowe about this issue?
Yes.
And as a result of that conversation, do you have a proposal to make regarding the use of red fescue in the Elk Creek Solar project?
Yes.
What is that proposal?
Elk Creek Solar is willing to explore a pilot on this project where a portion of the area is planted with a seed mix that includes red fescue. This pilot would monitor that red fescue planting and compare it with plantings that do not have red fescue in the seed mix. We would anticipate that WDNR and PSCW staff would be a part of that pilot project and would see the results. This pilot would help inform both Elk Creek Solar and WDNR on the use of red fescue going forward. This pilot is subject to getting agreement on a number of key issues, including funding, data use, and other issues. To facilitate this proposed pilot, Elk Creek Solar would request that the commission include an order point in the final order that reads as follows. If Elk Creek Solar desires to include red fescue in its seed mix, Elk Creek Solar shall work in good faith to reach an agreement with PSCW and WDNR staff to implement a pilot program for the project that compares seed cover using red fescue with seed cover that does not. In the event that agreement between Elk Creek Solar, PSCW, and WDNR cannot be reached on this pilot, Elk Creek Solar shall not include red fescue in the project seed mix.
The witness is available for cross-examination.
All right, any questions? Let's start with Renew.
No questions, Your Honor.
Commission staff?
None from commission staff.
Okay, so I just wanted to clarify with the witness, in terms of the pilot project, does the applicant have any internal calculations as to how much of the pilot, the red fescue area would be compared to the non-red fescue area?
Roughly half and half.
Half and half. Okay, yeah, that's okay, good. So any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Okay, well, that's it. Thanks. You're excused.
Thank you.
Mr. Bridges will handle the next witness.
Elk Creek Solar calls Dylan Stickney to the stand.
All right, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Do.
It's a little hard to hear you. I don't know if you can get closer to your mic.
A little better?
Yes. Oh, that's much better. Yes, thanks.
Great.
Great. Okay, go ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Stickney.
Good morning.
Did you file or cause to be filed direct, rebuttal, and surrebuttal testimony, as well as 5 exhibits in this proceeding?
I did.
And if asked the same questions that you were asked in that testimony today, would you give those same answers today?
Yes, I would.
And do you have any changes or modifications that you would like to make to your testimony or exhibits?
I do not.
I have no further questions. Your Honor, the witness is available for cross-examination.
Any questions from Renew,
No, Your Honor.
Commission staff?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thanks. That's all we need then. You're excused.
Thank you.
Elk Creek Solar calls Gautier Dubois to the stand, please.
All right,
morning.
raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, go ahead.
Mr. Dubois, did you cause to be filed direct and rebuttal testimony as well as 1 exhibit in this case?
Yes.
And if asked the same questions, would you give the same answers today?
Yes.
Do you have any changes or modifications to your pre-filed testimony?
I do not.
And do you have sir rebuttal testimony to offer at this time?
Yes.
Have you reviewed the sir rebuttal filed in this case by Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources witness Samantha Wittens?
I have.
And do you have sir rebuttal you would like to provide in response to Ms. Wittens' sir rebuttal?
Yes.
What is your response to witness Wittens' comments regarding ground disturbance limits?
Elk Creek Solar shares WDNR's focus on sustainable construction practices and understands the importance of minimizing ground disturbance to the overall success of the project. As such, Elk Creek Solar intends to use its best efforts as commercially reasonable to limit the amount of soil disturbed at a given time. This is consistent with Elk Creek Solar's previous indications of its intent to practically phase construction in a manner consistent with best management practices, as was detailed at pages 3 and 4 of my rebuttal testimony. However, as with other entities constructing utility scale generation projects in Wisconsin, Elk Creek Solar must have the ability to develop and execute its own construction sequencing plan while ensuring best management practices are followed. This is necessary to ensure efficient construction and to minimize or eliminate delays in commercial operation.
Do you have any reason to believe that Elk Creek Solar has underestimated the anticipated land disturbance for this project?
No.
Does that conclude your sir rebuttal testimony?
Yes.
The witness is available for cross-examination.
Any questions from Renew,
No, Your Honor.
Commission staff?
No, Your Honor.
All right, that's it then. Thanks. You're excused.
Thank you.
And that's it for the applicant, Your Honor. We rest.
Great, so we'll take Renew next. Let me call Michael Vickerman. So raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay, so you'd filed direct and errata to that direct and 4 exhibits, is that correct?
That is correct.
Are those filings complete and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, they are.
And I do have a couple questions to clarify your filings. Do you need me to display those, or do you, if I make the references to those documents, would you be okay with that?
I have paper copies, Your Honor.
All right, so it's just the first one was to clarify your statement in your direct, page 14, towards middle of the page, 20 lines 22 to 23, and you stated Elk Creek Solar should displace fossil fueled generation at all times. I just wonder if you could qualify that with, well, just any more elaboration you think would be better clarification for that.
Certainly. So that statement assumes that the generation that is likely to be closed in the next 5 to 10 years, which is basically coal-fired generation, will be replaced by a mix of resources, including natural gas generation. So I'm not assuming the elimination of fossil generation anytime soon, but there will be a greater diversity in the resource mix.
Okay, and then when your indication of all times, is that through the life of the project or when the sun is shining? That's kind of the confusion I had.
I think I'll qualify that by saying certainly through 2040.
Okay. So you're talking about the long-term
Yeah,
expectations of the project.
I think I can count on at least 15 years when there will be some generation from a fossil source occurring at the same time as the output from Elk Creek Solar.
Okay, got it. All right, thanks. Don't need to spend more time on that. So, and then your exhibit Vickerman 2. Yeah, I should probably just grab the reference there so I know where we are. And for some reason,
well, I remember. So this is in reference to a project in that table in Exhibit 2, which is called Salix. And in an earlier version, it says it's a 6 megawatt project. I subsequently learned after the filing of that exhibit that the capacity for that project is actually 7.5 megawatts.
Okay. Yeah, and I apologize. Some reason my Adobe isn't opening, so I can't display that right now. But and then so it'd probably be a good idea if you could file a revised version of that exhibit, just so the record's clear, that we understand the correct number.
Okay.
And then in your exhibit Vickerman 3, just wanted you to clarify that the highlights in color that were attached to that document or appear now in that document, those were, and I just wondered if you made those highlights to the original document.
Yes, Honor, I did, because that's the section that I refer to in my direct testimony.
Okay, perfect. That's all I need for that. Okay. So did you have anything else? Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I don't.
Okay, great. Any cross-examination? The applicant, any questions? No. And commission staff?
None, thanks.
All right, great. Well, thanks very much. You're excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so commission staff's turn.
Commission staff calls witness Haller to the stand.
All right, see you there. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Please state your name for the record.
My name is Macaulay Haller.
Thank you. And what is your position at the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources?
At the Wisconsin DNR, I work in the Office of Energy, and I am
How are you-
responsible. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm responsible for reviewing utility projects for wetland and waterway permitting.
Thank you, Ms. Haller. How were you involved in this docket?
I reviewed the project for wetland and waterway impacts and permitting requirements. I also served as a liaison with the PSC.
Did you file or cause to be filed direct testimony in this docket?
I did.
And are the statements and representations in that testimony true and correct?
They are.
Do you have any additions or modifications to your testimony at this time?
I do not.
Your Honor, the witness is available for cross.
Any questions from the applicant?
No, Your Honor.
Renew? Not seeing him anymore. Okay. All right. So no questions. That's it. That's all we need. So you're excused. Thanks very much.
Next, if all are ready, we'll call Ms. Rowe.
Yes, I see her there. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm? Tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Please state your name for the record.
Stacy Rowe.
And what is your position at the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources?
I am the Endangered Resources Utility and Transportation Liaison.
How are you involved in this docket?
I reviewed this docket for impacts to rare and non-game species.
Did you file or cause to be filed direct testimony and serve rebuttal testimony in this docket?
Yes, I did.
Are the statements and representations in your testimony true and correct?
Yes, they are.
Do you have any additions or modifications to your testimony or your testimony at this time?
I do, yes. In reference to what Chris Picard had stated, while WDNR's preference is to keep red fescue out of the seed mix for reasons already stated in my testimony, WDNR is willing to work with the applicant on a pilot project in this case to determine whether the species is compatible with the proposed seed mix or not. This was a novel idea that was very recently proposed, and while the specifics will need to be worked out in future discussions, I am in agreement with Chris Picard's proposed order point for this specific case.
Thank you. Available for cross.
Nothing from the applicant.
Okay, I guess I did have one clarifying question for you, Witness Rowe, and I think it was Witness Picard that mentioned that funding would need to be made available for the pilot. Do you have any idea where that funding would come from?
No, I imagine that would come from the applicant in just pretty much determining seed mix species for each study area that we'll do, and whoever will be monitoring those mixes to determine how best they react under the panels.
You wouldn't expect DNR to be doing the monitoring, would you?
No.
Okay.
Although I wouldn't mind coming out to take a look, but I would not expect us to do the monitoring.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Any follow-up questions from that?
I guess, Your Honor, just a clarification. I believe what Mr. Picard said is that's one of the issues we have to resolve, the funding. So,
Yeah, that's right. Just wanted to get her DNR's initial thoughts on that. And I realize there's still a lot more negotiation discussion that would need to happen should the commission approve the order point. Okay, anything else for this witness? All right, you're excused. Thanks.
Thank you.
The commission calls Ms. Kraft on behalf of Mr. Taylor.
Okay, I see you're there. Raise your right hand. You swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, go ahead.
Please state your name for the record.
My name is Akanksha P. Kraft.
And what is your position at the Public Service Commission of Wisconsin?
I'm the engineering supervisor at the Public Service Commission of Wisconsin, supervising a team of engineers who work on electrical construction dockets.
Okay, and until recently, did that include Mr. William Taylor?
Yes.
Okay, and on whose behalf are you testifying today?
I'm testifying on behalf of the Public Service Commission of Wisconsin.
And on Mr. Taylor's behalf specifically? Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
And have you previously filed testimony yourself in this proceeding?
Not in this proceeding.
Okay. Can you explain why you're taking the place of Mr. Taylor?
Yes. On March 17, 2023, Mr. Taylor filed direct testimony in this proceeding related to the engineering analysis he performed. Mr. Taylor subsequently left the PSC to pursue another job opportunity on April 7th, 2023. I was his direct supervisor during the period of his analysis on this project.
And did you review his direct testimony in this case?
Yes.
Are the statements and representations in Mr. Taylor's testimony true and correct?
Yes.
Do you have any additions or modifications to Mr. Taylor's testimony at this time?
No, I do not.
Thanks, Ms. Kraft. Available for cross.
Any
No.
questions?
Sorry, nothing from the applicant.
Okay. And renew, I don't see them. That's fine. Just take silence as a no. All right, that's it then. Thanks very much.
Mhm.
The commission calls Mr. Tomaszewski.
There you are. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay.
Please state your name for the record.
Tyler Tomaszewski.
What is your position at the Public Service Commission of Wisconsin?
I am an environmental analysis and review specialist.
Thank you. How are you involved in this docket?
I coordinated the environmental review and the drafting of the environmental assessment.
So can you confirm that commission staff filed the I'm just pulling up the EA. I think you've already answered that. Did you file our cause to be filed testimony in this docket?
I did.
And are the statements and representations in your testimony true and correct?
Yes, they are.
Do you have any additions or modifications at this time?
No, I do not.
Thank you. Open for cross.
Any questions?
Nothing from the applicant.
All right. Thanks very much. You're excused.
Okay, we'll call Ms. Whitens to the stand.
Okay, see you there. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Can you please state your name for the record?
Samantha Whitens.
What is your position at the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources?
I am a stormwater engineer in DNR's Office of Energy.
Okay, and did you cause to be filed direct and serve rebuttal testimony in this case?
Yes.
Are the statements and representations in your testimony true and correct?
Yes.
Do you have any additions or modifications to your testimony at this time?
I do not.
Thank you. Open for cross.
Any questions?
Nothing from the applicant.
All right. So that's all we need for you, witness Whitens. So thanks very much. You're excused.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else we need to handle for evidence on the record? I don't think so. All right. So it looks like we have all of our witnesses in and exhibits verified. It's all we probably need to do here today. So we'll expect the post-hearing process, briefs and transcript, etc. In the near future. Just get your corrections in 3 working days. Besides that, I think that's all we need. So thanks very much. We're excused, or we're adjourned. Take care.